Just one game today for the lower division. Of course, after the upper division match, which was a 2-0 win by Quincy Crew. Able to get the win over Simply 2-Based, my friends. So, Quinn was not messing around this time.
You've been voided.
We'll see here how our third Open Qualifiers team is going to be set to perform versus E-Boys, which have played in the previous season, but of course they actually made quite a few roster changes in between.
Yep, with Speed being the only one remaining, as well as having made a position switch, if I saw correctly, which is he used to be playing on the carry role, position 1, and now he is their offlaner.
Yeah, very true. I also see Murdoch as... This is why I was a bit confused, because he was listed as the mid laner, considering he is a mid lane player, was for Furia back in the day. But looks like Oklahoma is going to be taking up the reins this time around. We'll see if that's going to stick for them. And, of course, these guys, their last placement in the NADPC was a 3-0 and 4 fifth place finish. And that was a one-place improvement over their first season, which was a 6th place finish. So a mainstay here for the lower division in NA, as they look to get their season started here with a win over the Open Qualifier squad.
Yep, and I like how they're laning it here as well. So they're going the sustain route with the IO Slardar up top versus a Phantom Assassin, where they can certainly be the ones to bring the aggression with that extra regen. And up on bottom, it is indeed going to be the support Weaver with the magic damage and the minus armor versus a Doom, and looks to be a Pangolier support then down here, who does not have all that much to do in this lane. I believe he's going to think about pulling a wave here.
It's going to be the Quas-Wex, Oklahoma Invoker, as he's going to miss out on that first range creep being denied away by Mark. Already kind of taken a bit of a beating here. Slightly surprised to see so much Queen of Pain. Did a couple of tournaments in other regions, a C International or a Nations Cup, where this was also quite the regular mid lane hero. Just back to kind of the old Queen of Pain. These buffs on Shadow Strike, now healing her per tick, are pretty significant, especially between the first and second levels. And it just allows her to basically trade right clicks, which she already does great with so many other heroes, Invoker included, who's normally king at this, especially with his Quas and Wex orb changes. Not too recent of changes, but, you know, gets a lot of regen now.
So now you really need to dodge the dagger, but if you're one of the spirit heroes, which are very popular right now, that might not always be fitting in your build. That's, I think, one of the reasons that we see her a lot as well.
Top lane is Speed. This is a pretty brutal lane, by the way. This Wisp overcharge between the 4 hits. We can see now all this physical damage being put to work versus Jack. As Jakiro struggles to kind of keep him at bay. And this is kind of the problem versus Jakiro. I mean, this is probably the kind of second worst thing you can experience as a Jakiro in the laning stage, is a 2 tanky strength heroes with a ton of regen. The worst thing would be 2 tanky strength heroes when one of them is an ABBA or an LC, or both, because then they just literally don't care about you.
Yeah, just purge everything off. Feels good, man. And he's already emptied his entire mana pool. He's got a couple of mangoes left, but it doesn't feel good to be spending your regen for stuff that they are going to be getting naturally just via the tether.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when it's, I mean, a PA is just a free stick lane, and there's going to be plenty of regen to use. I don't know. I'm just slightly surprised they didn't decide to still lane or play the Jakiro as a 5, but just lane him down bottom, where I do think he's got a bit of a stronger lane here. And at least a Pangolier can look to bait out a little bit more with the Shield Crash and Swashbuckle, because I just don't see that big of a purpose for the Pango existing down here, except maybe to skip waves.
Yeah, he did that twice now already, I believe, and it's helping the Doom get his levels up, but that's not to say that the Jakiro couldn't also skip a wave here or there. And I think once the levels of the Pango go up, he also feels more at home in this top lane, where he is going to be contributing, of course, a disarm, or a possible disarm to the trades.
At least a slow is actually First Blood's down bottom. I thought it was going to be top, where E-Boys will make it a 2-for-1 trade. Wisp and Speed making great progress there. First Blood was down bottom, however, onto the Doombringer. I saw him, yeah, he just simply got bashed into plenty of damage over time. I was surprised. He went over to get the Hellbear Smasher, and they ended up killing him for that. He said, excuse me, this is NA, not Western Europe. No Hellbear Smashers here.
Yeah, I've heard that camp described as the camp of death by a lot of people now. And it starts very early on. You nip out into there, you're a target.
Yeah, camp of death. I'm surprised to see that be the camp of death this early on, though. Normally that's the camp of death after you think it's safe,
exactly.
after claiming that first tower, but already we're seeing that kind of epitaph go to work. They're going to jump onto the Wisp here, but this might actually just end up a kill onto Jack instead, as of course with the overcharge, not only is the sustain too great, but the bashes are almost constant from speed. Jack's low is going to be alive, and they're going to be able to continue regenerating up thanks to that salve especially. But Wisp has another healing salve of his own, and even a Tango, so going for the full Orb of Corrosion here on the Phantom Assassin.
Now on bot lane.
Yeah, they're going aggressive again. Some bashes onto the Doombringer, not going to be enough, as they'll throw Trap Nest down bottom to prevent any tower dives. Oh, they got him. Was that with...
Time dilation.
Wow.
3 charges, everything on cooldown.
Top lane, they're going
and
again, as the Wisp is going to be popped this time around. Damage over time. Jack doesn't get the kill. There's going to be the dagger slows. Lots of slows in this lane is actually something at least they can make use of, as that's not going to allow the Wisp to escape.
This is already starting to be a rough laning stage. Down bottom, Trap Nest already died once as well. He's had a very rough time feeling relevant, so once he got an opportunity, he went in with the Swashbuckle and immediately got mowed down by the physical damage from his opponents.
4-2 is the U-Boys starting to take a little bit of lead, especially in this bot lane, as you highlight. Invoker has the urn completed, no such charges, and only 3 points in Quas means I don't think you're catching really anyone with Cold Snap. I do want to look at what the cast point is on Blink as they get Doom again, bottom lane. And once again, I always think they're going to fight top, but bottom really starting to suffer. And Trap Nest even is not going to be able to escape. He's got a full medallion already, Kips. This is so much minus armor.
It's incredible, especially versus a Doom who is really not all that armor gifted to begin with. He's got that Ring of Protection just to try and get himself up there, but...
Oh, okay, sorry, Sonic Wave there, as Mark was not too happy having his regeneration rune denied in front of his face, and we'll pick up the kill using the Sonic Wave.
Still not going to feel too good though. He will find himself a rune in the triangle here now. And really, with both of his side lanes going this well for the opponent, it's really up to Mark to find some good rotations. But right now, with its Sonic Wave on cooldown, it's going to have to wait for a little bit more.
Yeah, it is. Queen of Pain to me was among one of the best rotators in the game as well. You know, a blink for pretty much instant initiation, some wave clear so you can easily push your mid wave out and then rotate away freely, and of course just one of the best early game nukes, pure damage in an AoE for what, 340?
Bot's going again. They don't even need the chrono.
They don't, and it's just especially when you get a double bash there, Murdoch picks up the kill very easily onto the Doombringer. That is his 4th death of the game here already on the Doom. Top lane's not going much better as Speed picks up the kill onto the Chikira. I think they've got to do something about this bottom lane. It's going much too well for this Faceless Void.
I think it's also going much too badly for this Doom. He doesn't even have his level 6 yet, and you want something to rotate on for the Queen of Pain where you're not going to die immediately when you do so, and instead Murdoch is ahead of her now.
They're going to look for a chrono mid, but it's going to miss. Mark, not Cold Snapped, easily avoids that one, as only the tower is going to be affected by the bubble. It's going to be a...
Richie, would you say it was off the mark?
It was off the mark. It was not on the mark, I wouldn't say. It was off the mark.
I am so
not
sorry.
On the mark. Jack Beandove top lane. TP's coming on in. The bashes are there. Jack doesn't have anything to Blink Strike to. He's got the blur, but it's not going to buy him enough time. The Speed continuing to fight now through Mark. Lots of minus armor here, but not enough. Scream of Pain will put him down. Wisp trying to out-heal through the damage, but will struggle against what is a level 4 now Scream of Pain.
At the very least, they're getting something out of huge win there of getting nothing out of the chrono. A little bit more time for the Doom down on bottom as well. The real problem here is though that if you want to make any aggressive rotations whatsoever, this Invoker is going to come around and he's going to come looking for urn charges. So it's really hard for Team Magnus right now to get back that advantage that they already lost. They can't pressure because they'll get punished really hard.
Yeah.
So most of what we're probably going to see is these defensive rotations on these dives.
Yeah, and that means there's no real rotations to be made for bottom, so Doom's just going to have to pull the wave as far as he can away from the seizures and just look to at least get his level 6 up. I mean, it is a Doombringer, so, you know, he'll eventually get farmed just based on the fact that he's got Devour, but he's going to struggle as Albino Zebra is going to be scouted here by the TP. Again, he's up to level 6 already, so he's got time lapse. Not really too scared unless he eats the Doom. Already 9 minutes in. Faceless Void topping the net worth charts. Jack, our Phantom Assassin, is got at least the Ring of Health here for the eventual Battle Fury. But after taking a death in the lane and having to just experience what is a Wisp on top of the Slaughter lane, not really going into the jungle with a lot of farm, a lot of headway, I should say, towards that Battle Fury.
It could have been much worse, though. I think the Jakiro definitely tanked a lot of the pain for her, so her CS is decent, as we watch Trap Nest now on a top lane of pain getting run down.
Yeah, and with the vision especially, even, oh my goodness, so much minus armor. Even while having a Swashbuckle ready, that they know exactly where he's going to be heading. Albino Zebra is already in the triangle, just looking to prevent and stop any stacks. As we can see, he's not only scouted probably the Doom and this ward, but blocked the hard camp. So they're already looking to mitigate any source of money and income. He's actually going to leave the ward there, quite surprisingly. I think I probably would have taken the D ward on that one. But then they knew the camp was blocked, but they're probably going to be able to tell very quickly that the camp's blocked anyway. We'll see here.
Yep, and they're looking for a, well, probably a chrono rotation here. This man's got his Mask of Madness at the ready. I'd really love to hit that, but unfortunately, ward gets found immediately.
Yep.
Cute play, but a bit too cute.
And they're not gonna unblock the camp, as they're gonna look for check, but the Sonic Wave is good. The Wisp relocate on the way back out is gonna allow them to escape. Dagger not on cooldown, and Trap Nest a bit too far away to try and interrupt that one. There's a TP, though, from Murdoch, and a rotation coming from the Weaver. TP back from the Jakiro, as they're going to bring back both heroes. Looking for a Chrono is Murdoch, but he's got no heroes he really wants to go on to. There's going to be that Macropire down in the middle of the fight. Not doing too much damage versus the tanky heroes, as they're going to buy back now. 5 heroes top for Magnus, as here comes the Rolling Thunder from the bot back Trap Nest. They at least get through the Faceless Void, as Doom chasing after more. He's got no mana for the Doom, however, so he's just going to devour a creep. But Magnus, they look to defend in numbers, and, well, they actually only end up losing their supports in exchange for not only the Faceless Void's life, but his Chronosphere, so not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Great read on the game there. And also a bit of a strange TP cancel from Oklahoma on the Invoker, who actually did not end up showing up to that fight at all.
Yeah, I was expecting some sort of a little bit more control and lockdown from him. But he's kind of just been farming here in the mid lane, which is not too bad, because he's keeping pace, at least, with the Queen of Pain, who farms pretty fast with Scream of Pain, of course. But it also means that this Urn has done nothing for him but provides stats and regen. No kill potential here on the Invoker, but just continuing his progress towards Hand of Midas, and that's about it.
He might feel that the fight will come to him.
And it has here, potentially, with Trap Nest swashbuckling up to the high ground before the EMP can affect him. Mark, is well affected by the Swarm, is going to deter them from going any further and diving into Tier 1 tower. Top lane is taken in the meantime, however, as we see Jack down bottom looking to apply some pressure.
And he got the tower down here as
Doom.
well,
Oh, this Doom is just getting eaten alive. Wow.
This Slaughter pick, with the way that he came out of the lane, is going to feel so good in the rest of the game now. Nobody in this game has great armor. Nobody in this game is going to be able to resist him. And plus, the armlet build himself, there's a lot of physical damage going to come out from that PA, and he's just not impressed by that. And he won't
relocate. Coming back down bottom for Jack. The Swarm is going to now give them eyes on speed. Running very fast here, but no armlet, so no Blink Dagger, as Murdoch looks to slow her down with the time dilation. Great Ice Path here is going to prevent the immediate chase, as they're going to go ahead and leave her there. So Wisp relocating back to the top lane, but they're going to go more into the triangle. They have a Doom, and they're going to drop it now onto the Faceless Void, who didn't have Chronosphere, so he was just here for the damage. There's a Sonic Wave now, and with the Macropire dropped in the river, they easily have the kill. Speed chasing after Mark will pick up that kill with the final bash, as the Wisp,
How
having
tanky he
relocated,
is.
is here rather to support Oklahoma. Speed in the river, a bit too fast for them. The armlet toggles. Now he's got the damage over time, and with 3 heroes to kind of focus him down, they will be able to pick up that kill relatively easily. A 2-for-2 trade. I'm just a little bit surprised that Murdoch decides to show up there, Kips. I don't see the reason why he needed to chase after the PA.
I mean, honestly, just the idea that she couldn't get away with that. And evidently now she did. And once again, Magnus reading the game very well. It's just like, all right, we only make defensive rotations. They don't have stuns unless they hit the chronosphere, so we can kite them forever. And as soon as they overextend, we punish. And it's working out great for them so far. These lanes look very bad, and right now the only one who looks like they had a hard time is the Queen of Pain.
Yep.
Who is... Her lane wasn't even that bad, she just had to run around and stop up a bunch of gaps.
She's going for Orchid, which I do like actually this game, because we just need a little bit more space to be made by someone, especially between the Doom cooldowns. We see now E-Boys having almost literally nothing to fear now that a lot of the abilities are on cooldown, are going to very quickly make towards that tier 1 tower and demolish it. But yeah, I think that's something that's still pretty nice about the Team Magnus draft is, even though this Doom is 0-6-3 and he's had what is a terrible start to this game, his Doom is still incredibly impactful so long as he can cast it. And that's what we saw there come into effect in that last fight. So that's something that E-Boys still have to very much be on the lookout for and respect if they go diving for kills like that.
Yep, every single time. And he's got himself a Hand of Midas now, and he's working his way towards a Blink Dagger, so anytime there is vision, he will be able to get exactly the target he wants. I think that's usually going to be the Invoker, and then Queen of Pain Orchid is going to go hunting for the Wisp.
Well, Oklahoma, he's got Earn Charges and, of course, the Cold Snap, but against the Pangolier, unfortunately, even with maxed Quas, the Cold Snap cooldown between procs is a little bit too long to prevent most abilities, like a Blink, or a Swashbuckle especially, as we saw. So he was unable to stop really anyone there. Speed has a Blink Dagger now, so we could look as that's bait right there. What the Wisp just did, that is 100% bait. You never go on a Wisp like that without a Slardar being linked to him.
He's on his own.
Yeah.
Sus.
I'm just a little Wisp, guys. Don't worry about me. He's actually gone for a Falcon Blade, by the way, on Wisp.
Huh.
That's a little bit surprising. Does Albino Zebra have one? He's probably just... He's actually not going for Ags this game. He's just kind of going for the Lotus. Feels like... I mean, he's not at the time-lapse even once, so why not? As Jakiro breaks the smoke here, into the triangle goes E-Boys. Trying to search for anything. Underneath the tower, they will find themselves a Doombringer. Oh, Hope Stomp into the Doom. They're going to look to turn, but Wisp trying to relocate out is going to be unfortunately stopped for a bit. They still get the kill onto the Doom. As in they go now. They're going to end up relocating out the Slardar, but he's already fallen. A great stun there through the Chronosphere. Not enough damage, though, for Murdoch, as he still gets the Time Walk off in time after killing the Pangolier mid-roll-up. Now Team Magnus, they look to surround the Wisp, but of course there's a tether up to Oklahoma on the high ground, and even now a turn as they're going to go back onto Jack. Great Ice Path here onto 2 as they're going to try and get through this Faceless Void. Silenced by the Fresh Orchid of the Queen of Pain. Still alive, though. The slow burn damage not enough, and E-Boys will continue diving after the PA, having slain her at the footsteps of her Tier 3 tower. Will now back up. Just an incredible dive, how aggressive they were, and even eating the Doom, the Slardar still very happy with the way that fight turned out for him.
Absolutely. You can see how much of the damage you had to throw on him. This is just an IO and an armlet, and so much of their damage is physical if the Queen of Pain doesn't show up in time, that he eats most of the attention from the entire team. And it works out great for the rest of them. I do think that the PA could have tried to turn in the end there. I don't think there was any chance of her getting out, and maybe she could have gotten Murdoch, but maybe they get Murdoch here.
Yeah, as they're going to milk adventure into the enemy jungle. There's that Orchid. They're even dropping Macropyre here. He's not too tanky, this Murdoch, so he is going to end up falling here to the Soul Burn of the Queen of Pain. It's down he will go. Just a level 1 Macropyre, but even that extra damage per second is going to be more than enough. And they even set up a couple more aggressive wards here, so this is going to do well to maybe give some pause to E-Boys on how aggressive that they can actually be, especially without that Chronosphere ready to go.
They're going to wait for the next Chrono, most likely. In the end, the end game of this game is in the hands of the Invoker, and with how unbothered he has been, he's actually nearly there. The Blade of Alacrity is going to come in 1,000 gold, and then we're going to see the Chronosphere Cataclysm combination. And at that point, Team Magnus has to have turned this game further than they already have. They need some towers, they need some space, and they need some serious kill potential, especially from that Queen of Pain. I'm not sure if she's going to have a BKB before that entire combination from Electronic Voice is
Yeah,
confirmed.
and my question is, does the BKB even save her from even, what is this now, level 4, level 5, or even level 6 Cataclysm? I think not. And that's always going to be the constant threat. You know, are you going to build an Aeon Disc on PA? Not before you have damage items. Certainly you aren't, as you boys are going to go through Rosh and about the duration of that replay. Of course, Slardar, one of the early kings of Roshan, he sits probably the right-hand man of someone like an Ursa Warrior, as they're going to look to pick off Jakiro. Good force F up to the high ground as the Ice Path preventing them from going any further. The Doom, though, they're going to find the Invoker with a Rolling Thunder as well in the river. A beautiful fight breaking out now for Team Magnus, but the Chronosphere to potentially turn it around. They've caught Mark, and they've caught Trap Nest as well. Jack on the outside of the Chronosphere, though, able to get through the Weaver, so he's got no impact in this fight, as now, with Magnus having slain 2, they turn now for the second life on the face as Void. Sonic Wave is good for speed. There's going to be a great jump as well onto the Ice Path, but with the Wisp providing the regen, he's just too tanky. Speed eventually taken down as Murdoch, without the Chronosphere, struggling to get on top of any of these heroes as he's being kited around through the fight. Now getting some healing from the Wisp as he's lost basically all of his lockdown, as well as his second life. Aegis being claimed in the fight. Team Magnus only losing the Doombringer there. Have what is I think, an amazing fight, especially because that was underneath a Radiant Tier 1.
Absolutely. Like, Electronic Voice really did not expect to get targeted down by the entire team there, because remember, Magnus hasn't made an aggressive move this entire game yet. Really caught off guard there.
That counter initiation just kind of getting kited around by the Jakiro, as they almost look to, again, that single Force Staff out from Jakiro made that fight so much more difficult. So great job by him. And the Chronosphere, unfortunately, as well, catching the Weaver, did end up making that fight a bit more difficult as well. Just take another look at that one. Yeah, because what a turn from this Jakiro. He kind of just kites everyone into position, and Doom just goes in and finds the target he needs. With no Invoker in the fight, that kind of frees up everyone else. And
his Chronosphere is just not good enough.
No.
He doesn't get any of the damage dealers.
And I think this Faceless Void by himself, maybe one more bash and he gets that kill into the Quap, but she lives, gets off a couple more spells, and that ends up making just all the difference, doesn't it?
It does, and now they're back to knocking on the mid-tower door.
Yeah, they still know there's no Chronosphere. They don't have their Doom or Sonic Wave up, though. Both of those in 30 seconds, but they're still feeling aggressive as the Doombringer just diving behind the Tier 1 tower. His mana burned and his life as well, claimed by the Sunstrike despite a great Ice Path. Now, E-Boys looking to repel the attackers, as the Creep Wave will at least be able to claim that Tier 1 tower. Another Ice Path here does not catch speed as he's too speedy in the river. He's going to be able to flank and destroy the Jakiro. Good kill for him there.
Doom underestimating the damage output there a little bit, but in the end he's doing his job. He wants to make very sure that the tower goes down this time, so he positions himself forward, draws a lot of attention. This is what also has been getting the Jakiro all of these really great ice paths, is the Doom forcing Electronic Voice to focus him, and therefore getting very nice lines for this Jakiro.
It's a really good point, actually, because outside of Weaver's Swarm as well as Slardar making sure he can apply Corrosive Haze, you know, that's kind of the only thing. I mean, this Doom, he may have 9 deaths, and I don't say this to be mean to him, but I think we can safely assume that basically all of these 9 deaths have the Slardar involved, because that's kind of the only thing that's ended up really killing him. So Slardar just has to make the jump onto him, as they're going to make the jump onto Jack now. There's a bash with the overcharge. We're looking for a second Sonic Wave, though, to prevent them from going any further, as the Wisp looking to relocate his allies away, and the Rolling Thunder's just a second late, Kips. So at most, they're only going to be able to get a little bit of a kill onto the Wisp. Speed, as well as actually the Invoker, are TPing to the outpost. And Magnus, they are going to get a whiff of that thanks to their ward they have. So they're actually not going to be looking for a fight. Okay, this Weaver is going a bit too aggressively here, silenced by the Orchid, and that Soulburn is going to claim his life at the cost of Jakiro and Queen of Pain's own life. So a little bit too aggressive there.
If you're so far forward that the enemy goes on you, but they die to your team after that, you're not too far forward.
Queen of Pain, sorry, make that the PA even still dies at the end of the day to the Sunstrike of Oklahoma. I didn't quite catch that one.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
That's no.
That was a big one, as Trap Nest trying to run. Another Sunstrike, that's what would have gotten him. But Speed, he wants it first, and he'll get it.
And these are exactly the kind of mistakes that Magnus was not making in the first phase of the game. No one-by-one deaths. If you lose somebody, immediately back off. Only make these defensive rotations. But it's hard switching from that. And especially now that you have the Aghanim Scepter on the Invoker breathing down your neck. You feel the urge to do something. And unfortunately, right now, if they don't have the PA or if they don't have the Sonic Wave, they don't have the damage to bring their enemies down in these actions.
Yeah, and I think especially with Murdoch's build having decided to go for BKB, unless he really messes up with Mask of Madness, he is going to be almost unkillable. The drawback of going for BKB this early on Faceless Void is it means he usually struggles to get solo kills in Chronosphere because he just lacks damage, you know, not really enough damage or stats for him with the BKB build. But that's not a problem, of course, right? Because you've already highlighted the Cataclysm that Oklahoma has, and that's going to do the damage for him in the Chronosphere. He just needs to live long enough and actually cast it, and that's what BKB allows him to do.
Exactly.
Smoke play coming from E-Boys. They're going to be smoked into, though. Doom able to actually get a nice wraparound here, but he now needs to look to support Trap Nest as he tanks a smoke gank. Doom is finally going to catch wind of the bigger rotation that was actually there to claim the life of his Pango, and he is not going to go in and join him in the grave.
Oh, he'd much rather finish his own BKB right now, and these are actually pretty good timings for Magnus. That's triple BKB, overall Magnus at exactly the same time as that Electronic Voice is going to have them, even though there's a 4K difference, and that gold is just all in the force support.
Yeah, there's not a lot of money here in the pockets of the supports as they're going to look to fight here. There's the Orchid, but of course, having the BKB active is going to reflect the Doom. They don't really care too much, though, because they're just happy to get this kill. Doom, of course, having doomed himself, is going to end up falling, and there's going to be the Cataclysm. Mark in the between 2 and 1 million Sunstrikes is going to decide to blink away, but actually Jack jumps back in, but he's being crushed right now, literally, by the speeds of Slardar, and, well, that was not the fight that they were quite looking for, as Magnus are kind of going to crumble underneath the Tier 2 after picking up the kill on the Faceless Void.
And here you can perfectly see the reasoning for that Lotus Orb instead of the Aghanim Scepter over on the Weaver. Like, the enemy only has 1 round of burst damage, and usually that's going to go down on the Faceless Void. He can survive that, unless he gets doomed. So you at the very least try to take the Doom down with him, or avoid getting the Doom cast in the middle. And then after that, you clean up the rest of the fight. You don't need to save anyone from any other burst damage, because there is no more burst damage.
Yeah, Queen of
Since
Pain.
you have an IO, you will out-sustain.
Almost just getting basically 100 to 0'd in 1 blink from speed. This armlet as well makes him do a ton of damage. I've really liked the build out from speed this game, especially now that he's got a 9-second BKB ready to go into the AC next. He is just going to be able to basically kill Doom whenever he feels like it at this stage.
He can eat them all alive. And that AC is really going to be what they need to break the base as well, because right now they're not that great at hitting towers, but after that happens, there's really nothing that Team Magnus can do. Either they lose their towers or they lose their heroes.
Oh, speed. Oh my goodness, I can't believe Doom went back on it. He went back on it. He's died almost 10 times to Slardar, and he still has no fear going for that hoof stomp like that. Speed, he's going to scout him again. Blink Dagger in a second. He's got vision of him. Speed. Oh, they blink actually on each other. I cannot believe this Doom. He doesn't care, man.
He knows what needs to happen. I'm not sure if his team was completely ready for what needed to happen, but he knows that if they sit back and they let Electronic Boys initiate here, that the game is over, because they will always get that Cataclysm exactly how they want to.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. Yeah, 1 minute until Roche is up. Both teams, they know that we're in the window. This is not too long of a Roche, but also not the 10-second instant Roche. So both teams are going to have all their ultimates ready to go, and we're not going to expect to see basically any too aggressive moves from anyone.
Solo Chrono bottom.
Yeah, it is. Into the Cataclysm. They're going to get Jack. So Murdoch actually is going to go aggressively. Even the Wisp here to make sure that they could follow up and get the kill. He's going to end up relocating. I'm not sure where this Wisp relocated from, but he's going to bring him back into the fight after maybe pushing one more wave. Nope, he's just going to bring him back. They're looking for Roche. It would be perfect now, but 27 more seconds. They'll have a 10-second window while PA is still dead. And, of course, without the outpost, without that Dire jungle outpost being controlled by Dire, there's really no way for them to contest it in time if they scout it immediately. Oh, and they kill Jakiro, basically. Speed just... He was there to farm Ancients, but he'll take a Jakiro, too.
Yeah. And he's there basically on his own. This is how confident he is right now. His IO has now partnered up with the Faceless Void, and he's like, you know what? I can stand on my own 2 feet right now. I'm a big boy. I ate all my sandwiches.
He did. He had all of his vegetables. He drank a glass of milk every day. He did all of that. They're going to push a tier 2 tower as they feel quite confident. Doom ready to go on in. Blink, BKB, and Hoofstomp as they're going to break the link-ins. Once again, Doom reflected, but they just don't care, Kips, especially because this Faceless Void didn't even get the chance to get anything off. Trying to lifesteal through it, though. He will be put down eventually. Wisp, without the relocate, could not get the save off, and even he himself is going to try meagerly to TP away. Jakiro buys back for this one, but with the Faceless Void dead for a minute, and even without Chronosphere for an entire minute, they only have Cataclysm to try and contest this Roche, and speed. Can they actually look to contest Roshan here? This could be a pretty big turning point for Team Magnus.
It is, and once again, this Doom's readiness to absolutely tank the hell out of everything makes the fight possible for Electronic Boys.
EMP, they're going to buy back on a Wisp. Double BKB, though, out from Team Magnus. As speed, he's in onto the Pangolier. He's going to go right through him, shred him like butter, as the Cataclysm does good to separate the team fight. That's going to put down Doom. He's going to have to buy back and ready to go, so it's a 4v4 fight currently. Pango holding on to his buyback, but Jack is going to be ran down. Jakiro make that is next. As down he goes, that's a dieback for him. And Doom, having just bought back as well, is still going to be chased. And ooh, we've seen this one play out before. Speed going to make the blink on in and find the kill. Albino Zebra thinking about looking for more, as they did reflect the Orchid onto the Queen of Pain. They chased him all the way from the Roche Pit to the Fountain, but eventually they're going to let up and probably look back now for second Roche.
This is the age-old dilemma, isn't it? If I just use all of my abilities to win a comeback fight, can I then take Roshan after? And the answer, unfortunately, is no.
The answer was no this time around. It's with the Weaver in there just to so create discord. You know, they kind of separate that team fight very easily, and as soon as it falls apart, as soon as Jakiro's down, they kind of just lack the control.
I mean, it certainly helps that they basically have 2 Bash Lords right now, and PA can't fight either of them.
That's a good point. Yeah, PA is not able to fight any of them. Oh, and Mark, he's going fishing here for a Queen of Pain. He's got a full Silver Edge trying to TP away. There was no bash in time, though, so he's going to be able to make that mark. He's going to be able to TP away, but had to use the BKB for that.
He used up that bash on the first hit.
Murdoch now just pushing with the rest of his team. He did take the slide whistle shard here on that time walk. So he's going to have that one ready to go should he need it. Yeah, there's all that wave clear we were talking about during the draft, but they're going to fortify it. Just give them a little bit more backdoor defense. Force Staff nicely done, as they actually do end up breaking as well. The Lincoln Sphere and a great stun here, but he does get the BKB off. He's going to turn with the Chronosphere, catching 2. That's going to be the Queen of Pain down, as well as the Jakiro. Quap, though, with buyback. As Strapnest at least doing a good job of holding down the rest of the back liners. The Queen of Pain, she's down bottom farming. She just cannot fight into this.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised to see the PA still not be there. She's hoping to get to finish a Desolator sometime, but I think her Ancient is going to fall before she does, and her team just buying time. She has to come back.
Yeah. If not the Ancient, at least these top lane of Barracks, as they're basically instantly deleted. Bot lane at least pushed out, so Jack was serving some sort of purpose, but tier 4 towers now under siege, as E-Boys cannot get bottom lane of Barracks, so they're going to turn on to the only other objectives they can get, and that's tier 4 towers. No Chronosphere, no Cataclysm, but still some very, very strong E-Boys beating down your tier 4s as the Ancient exposed. They're looking to just end this game. They got to throw whatever they have now, as Jack makes the jump now onto speed with the Sonic Wave. Oh, they almost get him down. The Wisp, though, keeping alive with that regen is going to allow him at least to back up. Jack still diving for this kill. Can't quite find it, but is creating space here as Team Magnus trying to defend their Ancient. However, Murdoch wants out of this game now, just focusing down the throne. Might lose Aegis for it, and in fact, he will. He's got basically no support here, but this throne only on 230 HP. He BKBs for it, and he is going to get the only thing that matters, Kips. That's the throne. Down it goes. E-Boys, they're going to take the game.